Hi, everybody. It is virus season, and we have updated our immune fitness program, and I wanted to kind of go through it. I'm going to share my screen and show you a few things. So here is my screen, and the first bit here is Women's Foundation. We have a generic foundation, Women's Foundation, Men's Foundation, Women's Foundation, Advanced, and all kinds of these. But just in general, what is foundation? This is a big bottle. The lighting doesn't work that well, but it's a big bottle. Let me shade it so you can read it backwards. But, foundation, basically what that is a multivitamin, multi-mineral. It's got some phytonutrient pills in it as well, and fish oil. So it's a broad spectrum. The next thing on our list is this colostrum product. So IgG Immune, I know it's backwards, so I couldn't figure out how to make it not backwards. IgG Immune is a colostrum product, and I want to show you a couple of papers. Here's one: prevention of influenza episodes with colostrum compared with vaccination in healthy and high-risk cardiovascular subjects. And I just want to read the very last bit here. The incidence of complications and hospital admissions was higher in the group that received only vaccination compared to the colostrum groups. Colostrum, both in healthy subjects and high-risk cardiovascular patients, is at least 3 times more effective than vaccination to prevent flu and is cost-effective. Here is another paper, and this is comparing, this is a probiotic, this Bifevir. It's a Italian probiotic. And when they mix colostrum in this probiotic, they found that it was superior to immunization. I want to make a really important statement here. I'm immunized. I believe in vaccines. I think that this is a great thing to put on top of your immunization, because the truth is, as immunizations go, the flu vaccine is kind of a crummy one. It doesn't usually works between 30 to 60% of the time. So do both, right? All right, now this is immune glycan. This is a small bottle. I'll use my book again to shade it from my face light here. Immune glycan. This is baker's yeast extract, beta glycan. Here's, actually, I could have showed you this. This is the bottle, and tells you how it works and so on. But I want to show you randomized trial of Well Immune, which is this stuff, the brand of this stuff. And the abstract here, it says the treatment arm compared to the placebo arm showed improvement. And you can go through all of these things, but the bottom line is they had similar amounts of illness, but the severity was lower and the number of lost work days was lower. Here's another baker's yeast thing. It increases salivary IgA and decreases colds and flu symptom days after intense exercise. So these people are people who are doing intense exercise. We know that intense, not just daily routine exercise, but like training for a marathon at a competitive level, amounts of exercise can suppress your immune system. And what this showed is that beta glycan, or glucan, excuse me, can change that. So, the regimen starts with foundation, then colostrum, then this beta glucan. The beta glucan is a really good sort of immune primer. And then we go to something called Immune Fit. And Immune Fit has a whole ton of ingredients in it. This is Immune Fit. And it's a small bottle, as you can see here. And basically, it has a ton of ingredients. One of the ingredients, this is another beta glucan thing, sorry. One of the ingredients is andrographis. And andrographis in this study was shown to reduce the severity of colds. And here is inhibition of enveloped viruses with curcumin. Curcumin is another ingredient in immune fit. So, I'm not claiming that this is going to prevent or cure COVID, but COVID is an enveloped virus. Here's another curcumin paper. Curcumin inhibits influenza virus infection, and the way that the influenza virus gets a hold of our cells and fuses with our cells is through this hemagglutination. So it inhibits that process. This is another curcumin article that shows that it influences viral infection and influenza pneumonia via oxidative stress. And all this gobbledygook here, this is toll-like receptor 2 and 4 and nuclear factor kappa beta. And these are just biochemical pathways that the curcumin affects in cell physiology. So then the next, this is anti-infective properties of EGCG. So this is a green tea extract. This is, again, still in immune fit and all at therapeutic doses. So this is a paper that goes through the anti-infective properties of EGCG or of green tea, and they're not insignificant. And then special formulation, this is the scientific name for green tea. And this is talking about a number of the ways in which it prevents the cold and the flu. And then we have the next ingredient in immune fit, black elderberry. Now, early on in COVID, there were some people saying, oh my goodness, don't take elderberry. There were some theoretical concerns. There do not appear to be any serious concerns with elderberry. They're just, people are using it a lot and it doesn't appear to be a problem. So elderberry supplementation effectively treats upper respiratory symptoms, a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. So a meta-analysis is when you scrape together the results of a whole bunch of, in this case, randomized controlled trials, and then do statistical analysis. And it's considered a very powerful way to determine if things work or don't work. So that's elderberry again. Here's some more elderberry. Reduces cold duration and symptoms in air travelers. So air travelers, as we know, hopefully you're not getting on those long skinny tubes where they seal you in with a whole bunch of other people right now. But as we know, air travel tends to be a place where people get sick. There's the stress of the travel, the loss of sleep, being in close contact with a bunch of people, and elderberry appeared to reduce the amount of upper respiratory tract symptoms. Randomized study of the effects and safety of elderberry extract for influenza A and B. And this is done in Norway, and it tells you the amount and so on. So where is it? Symptoms were relieved on average 4 days earlier, and use of rescue remedy was significantly less than those receiving elderberry extract compared to the placebo. So elderberry, again, in that study was helpful. The next ingredient is American ginseng. And this study shows some benefit to ginseng in acute respiratory illness. URIs in North American ginseng. So this is a little bit longer study. Ingestion of this stuff, North American ginseng, in moderate doses for 4 months reduced the mean number of colds per person, the proportion of subjects who experienced 2 or more colds, the severity of symptoms, and the number of days cold symptoms were reported. So again, antiviral. This is the next ingredient in Immune Fit. Again, we're still on Immune Fit, and again, all at therapeutic doses. This blocks herpes simplex virus. So this is the cold sore virus, herpes simplex virus. through inhibition of NF-kappa B, that nuclear factor kappa B that we talked about before. So very helpful. Lutein. I scrolled this down because I was looking for the thing. This is actually a review of the potential of complementary alternative medicine in preventative management of novel H1N1 swine flu pandemic. So this was published in 2011, and there is a whole list of things. It's a great article. It goes through a lot of detail. I want to show you the list that I was on before. So right here, these are all the things they looked at, and the lutein comes from this stuff right here, and it has the ability to inhibit neuraminidase, an enzyme identified as crucial for the proliferation of the influenza virus. So that's the reason we included it in this study. Now, this is quercetin, the next ingredient in Immune Fit. Quercetin reduces susceptibility to influenza infection following stressful exercise. So this is another exercise induction study. So we know that high performance athletes are at higher risk for illness and, after aggressive workouts like training for a big event. And taking quercetin helped. So as you can see from the top here, we got a lot more to cover. Quercetin as an antiviral agent inhibits influenza A virus, and it inhibits the entry of the virus into your cells. Here's resveratrol, another ingredient. Influenza or bird flu inflammation and anti-inflammatory analgesic agents. And it shows that resveratrol was a very effective anti-inflammatory agent. The next product is neuroimmune support. So little bottle again. I got to get my book to shade it so you can see it and read it backwards. Reading backwards helps with neurocognitive flexibility, so I'm just trying to help you out. This has in it primarily something called PEA, polyethylene amide. Not even, let's see here, you see you say that 3 times fast. So here is, well, somehow we got another resveratrol paper in there. Here we go. This is the ingredient in the neuroimmune support, a natural body-owned anti-inflammatory agent, effective and safe against influenza and cold. And then a new product, Curcuphilic. Curcuphilic is a small bottle again, looks like this, Curcuphilic. It's called Curcuphilic because it is a highly bioavailable curcumin. So philic means loving or so curcuphilic means it loves to get into you. This has, well, let me just show you here. In fact, 400 milligrams of BioCurc, which is the active ingredient, this registered trademark in Curcuphilic, is equivalent to 2 million milligrams of turmeric, or 45,000 milligrams of 95% curcumin extract or curcuminoids. So it is dramatically more bioavailable, not just a little bit. And that's why we use it. Curcumin is a broad spectrum medicinal herb. It supports the immune system, as you see here. It helps with minor joint discomfort. It relieves exercise-induced muscle tension, supports proper stress management. It's a powerful antioxidant, helps maintain blood sugar, helps maintain blood lipids, assists digestive function. And there's several references to the medical literature there. So why Curcuphilic? Well, all of those reasons. Plus, you've heard of this idea, it's been popular, cytokine storm. Probably it's not actually the issue, cytokine storm. There's other inflammatory mechanisms, and there's a totally different mechanism that appears to actually be in place rather than the cytokine pathway. It's actually probably the bradykinin pathway. But nonetheless, this works very much upstream at the beginning of the inflammatory pathways. So it hopefully prevents you from getting the really serious inflammatory illness that is associated with many viral illnesses, but including the recent pandemic. The next thing is vitamin D. Vitamin D, we call it weekly vitamin D. So ours is weekly vitamin D. The reason why it's called weekly is because it's 50,000 units, and you really only need one a week to get, for most people to get sufficiency. It's my opinion that you should have your vitamin D level checked, and if it isn't 50, you need to take more. Anyway, the seasonality of pandemic and non-pandemic influenza, the role of solar radiation, which manufactures vitamin D, and vitamin D. And conclusion, in temperate latitudes, down here, in temperate latitudes, even pandemic influenza often shows a clear seasonality. The data supports the hypothesis that high UV radiation or vitamin D levels are helpful in preventing these pandemics and just the seasonal issues. So that's the reason for vitamin D. And then zinc. Zinc against the common cold, an overview. So this is a review article, but basically, if I skip down here to conclusions, the conclusion is here that clinical trial data support the value of zinc in reducing the duration and severity of symptoms of the common cold when administered within 24 hours of the onset of common cold symptoms. So zinc lozenges or zinc chelate. So we don't use zinc lozenges, we use zinc chelate, which is a chelated, highly bioavailable form of zinc. And in this case, it's zinc glycinate and zinc arginate. So those are the highly bioavailable forms of zinc. So that is our regimen. It's several bottles. How do you break it up? Well, if I was going to take only one thing, it would be the colostrum product, the IgG Immune. If I were going to add one more, it would be, in the order that I recommended on the video. It would be the immunoglycan. Following that, I would add the Immune Fit, and then so on down the line. And we'll put links to all of these things in that order below this. But that is our immune support and viral readiness program.